Infinite awareness with the power of infinite imagination is eternal divine freedom of our spirits. And we're no longer bound to the illusion of birth, death, three-dimensional limitations and ideas. We can escape the illusion by no longer believing in any part of this whole dimension. All the labels and concepts, they're all hiding our true nature. It's a giant trap. And we only should focus on the eternal, our infinite awareness and imagination. Then once you die, you will be able to go home to a state of infinity. We have to stay vigilant every single day, while still here, because in this dimension, by that method we gain more strength and insight about our true nature. And this is because the world sure loves to fool us into believing we are limited human beings and should be full of negative emotions to never sense or see the truth. The deeper our understanding becomes, the greater our inner sight becomes of the truth. The easier it becomes to counteract all the nonsense of this dimension, causing all the suffering and confusion in our heart and spirit. Remember, you are not a human being, you are just having the experience of being human, even though the journey is god-awful for most of us all around the globe. Don't fall for this giant illusion that is hiding your true infinite nature. It's keeping you blind and stuck in this dimension if you do not get rid of it. Now, all the creative powers of our spirit, a child of infinity, are used against itself by making them more and more attached to their creations on this physical dimension. Be careful and perceive it. You are meant to be a free spirit creating in a much higher dimension where your imagination instantly becomes reality. It's an eternal freedom to enjoy and create as the offspring of the divine. Over here, many people die with broken hearts, feeling they failed to realize their dreams, that life just didn't work out, but it's all part of the giant illusion of keeping you stuck, not knowing your true nature. The same people, as they die in this way, want to give this dimension another try, hoping that somehow the next time it will work out better for them. Still not realizing that they are giving away their power to a dimension that is not worthy of their true nature. You see, this one might be very shocking to some people, so I'll repeat it. The people who die by being attached to this realm, they want to give it another try. After death, of course, hoping that somehow that next life of theirs will work out better for them. Still not realizing that they are giving away their power to a dimension that is not worthy of their true nature. People sometimes say they want to help improve the world, to make it a better place, so that it can be better for others. But it will never work long term, for the nature of this dimension is such that humanity is boxing itself in through their own creations and technology to become even more bound to this dimension. They want to link the mind to artificial intelligence, which will completely cut you off from your own divine source if you don't watch out. For it will constantly feed you even more nonsense and create even more attachments purely to this low dimension of existence. It is better to simply set yourself free by remembering you are infinite awareness. Then much greater dimensions and realities can be explored and experienced that don't limit you any longer to any physical creation. Because physicality is transient, and everything that is temporary brings suffering to you, because that is not your true nature. Infinity doesn't deal with these things at all. Your true essence is meant to be free of it all. But this, again, is all part of this fall of mankind at large, that we all got tricked into seeing this dimension as the only reality. If you have experienced elements of higher realities, it's an absurdity to settle for this lower reality. What's the point? Isn't it interesting? If we embrace our true infinite nature, then we can go to sleep, and sometimes we're invaded by the most tragic dreams of loss and suffering, as if another force tries to push you back down into feeling little and weak. There truly is a demonic force at hand, and we should remain neutral, even knowing the truth of our own nature. to not be overly excited about it, or this demonic force seeks to counteract it violently in return, and it becomes this annoying tug of war constantly. So throughout ancient history, all over the world, humanity has been speaking about and conveying through art that a demonic force entered this world. Now, another important point to keep in mind about what I just said is also concerning the history of the world. Before flying was even invented with the airplane, or before great ships were sailing across oceans all around the globe, there remains evidence that different populations all were aware of some kind of demonic force or some alien force that invaded this world a long time ago. How could that be? Because they weren't able to travel to each other physically speaking like we do now around the world. And still they had similar experiences all across the world. See, we need to keep an open mind about this. Stuff is not what they seem at all. Now, what's interesting about this is that over time, obviously, people have been slowly but surely cut off from their own spiritual awareness. So they become unable to even perceive demonic forces, making it easier to keep future humanity tricked. And then the ones who do notice these forces are suddenly the crazy ones, since the majority don't sense or see it anymore. But yet in ancient history, it was a common knowledge that other worldly beings came to visit the earth, beings from other dimensions, etc. And in this current day and age, the majority still find this idea an absurdity, because they can't see or grasp it with their current programmed minds. And this was all for a reason, obviously. If the demonic forces want to be in control from the shadows, then slowly but surely with each successive generation, they have to force the newer populations to focus more and more on their physical selves, forgetting anything about their spiritual infinite natures. And this is still happening to this day, especially with the advances in technology, making people more and more excited and fascinated by physical creations and entirely remaining ignorant of their own infinite imagination and the higher realms of total freedom. This is what's happening with artificial intelligence. People become more dependent on a physical creation in this form called artificial intelligence to write stuff perhaps, to design stuff, etc., and they forget to use their own creativity. So humanity is actually going in a very strange direction. It can be useful, this artificial intelligence, if used wisely, but it has to be done while retaining your own spiritual awareness, because otherwise you become so fascinated by this kind of stuff that, again, you're no longer paying attention to your own true nature at all anymore. It becomes more and more about the physical, about giving up your power, in this sense, to artificial intelligence. You do it for me, because I have no idea how to do it, and I have no idea about anything about my own true infinite nature. That's the problem, you see. See, by now, people are more worried and focused on making money to live a comfortable life than to know that in essence, as infinite awareness, they could have, do, be, and create whatever they want without the need for money. So the money has also become a great physical pattern that keeps humans focused exclusively on the reality of the five senses in three-dimensional space. Again, no awareness or knowledge of higher realms where these things might not even be needed, and because that's the truth. I've seen it for myself and others have as well. So the goal now becomes to let go of this three-dimensional reality, to no longer believe in it or obey it mentally and emotionally. Physically, for the time being, since we are in it, we have to go along with certain activities. But for the most part, you want to completely become unattached from this entire realm and focus on magnifying your true nature. I am infinite awareness and possess infinite imagination. I can do whatever I want, and once this body stops functioning, I will embrace my own infinity. Basically, from a fear of death, we start looking forward to taking back control of our own infinite nature once the body ceases to function. So it's a total reversal. Instead of feeling sad or bad over the idea of death, you become almost excited about it, because of knowing that in that moment our spirits are set free from this dimension. However, this only works if we make sure to completely identify ourselves with our true nature, so that we truly no longer want to come back after the body shuts down. Now, some people might be shocked. Get excited about death? What do you mean? To become excited when I see people die all over the world, should I be excited? Yes and no. What a shocker. What did he just say? Yes, in the sense that death gives us the opportunity to go back to our true home of infinity, if we prepared ourselves for this beforehand. And of course, no, because obviously there are a lot of tragic and vile ways people actually do meet with their end, and those ways tend to be due to very negative states of the mind, which should be abandoned by humanity entirely. But will they ever do so? Doesn't look like it so far. So the only important work a man or woman therefore has is to remember their true nature, to identify with their own infinite awareness, and to let go of all the labels and limiting beliefs that were hiding this from them all along. It's such a clear and specific goal, but yet people make it so complicated by wanting to focus on all kinds of earthly goals, not truly focusing on letting go of this small fake sense of I, of the body and mind. If we do focus on letting go of it and merge with our true infinite nature, then death becomes the great door towards infinity for us, and we don't have to slave out a living in three-dimensional space ever again, for that is how it all goes down here, and how we are limited in comparison to the ability of infinite manifestation of imagination in the higher dimensions. This entire physical realm causes great suffering, for it has temporarily hidden and taken away our true power of unity and infinite imagination. Basically, here the illusion of loss exists, and that makes you suffer, but in higher realms you can never lose anything or anyone because of the greater unity we share. You can just manifest each other's essence and have conversations freely or do things together, never having to suffer that great illusion of separation and loss. It is evil and vile beyond words down here. Now people might wonder, wait, manifesting a dead person's essence? Am I really talking to them? Yes, to their essence. It may seem strange that you can manifest them with your imagination. The point remains, it was the sense of separation of us all being separate entities that was the problem. The illusion all along. So at first people can indeed be confused, thinking, well then those people must be fake if they come from my imagination. Nay, I say to you that it is the distorted perception put over your eyes, to believe in everything that should not have been believed. Unity is the truth, and therefore everything is possible to your true nature, which is beyond time and space, which is beyond the illusion of separation. It is in this delusion of separation we think we lose other people through death, and grieve greatly. But to know that you can resurrect them through your divine imagination in a higher dimension of your being is wonderful and brings bliss. Nothing is ever lost, but only obscured from view. And the more we learn about our true nature, the more this truth can shine forth. What I'm talking about is this peculiar thing we all might have encountered. A person says to you, I dreamt about you, and they tell you about their dream, how they may have had marvelous conversations with us. But you know, well, I was not there personally. I was dreaming about something entirely else. What happened? Well, the other person was communicating with your essence by spiritual means through the power of infinite imagination. So you see, we already have been receiving glimpses of this greater truth, but if we don't pay attention, we won't recognize it when it's revealed right in our faces. You may have had dreams going on wonderful journeys, perhaps being extremely wealthy, living such a wonderful life in such a wonderful universe, such amazing sights to behold. Everything simply felt divine. Then you wake up in physicality and you might feel slightly sad. Oh, 'twas but just a dream, and now I'm back to this world where I have to grind out a living, and surely suffering lurks around the corner of any kind. This is normal because what you experienced was the true nature of your spirit, utter freedom. You could do whatever you wanted. That is your true home, not this physical place of limitation, chaos, and suffering. That is the disturbing part to grasp initially, but ultimately it should make you excited to go back to your true home. Having had glimpses of total freedom, one should not let this current dimension fool them into thinking they are something they are not. A limited human being that has to slave out its own existence. Yes, while here we are still bound by these activities physically, but set yourself free spiritually in consciousness by embracing your own infinity, and then these activities become less tiresome as we are still confronted by them, but rather they become a stepping stone towards the greater freedom that waits for us all once the body shuts down and is given back to this earth.